Summer is rapidly approaching, and with it comes the return of the highly anticipated classic World of Warcraft. Originally released in 2004, Classic WoW was everything you'd want in an MMORPG. It was vast, adventurous, and groundbreaking for the time. But it's not 2004 anymore. The world has changed, and so has the majority of World of Warcraft's former audience. Now 15 years older, and encumbered by the obligations of adulthood, many fans of the old franchise have been asking themselves a very important question. Can I still enjoy Classic as a casual player? I'll answer that question and more in this video. Before we can say whether or not Classic WoW can be enjoyed by a casual player, we have to remember a very important point. Classic WoW was built for the casual player. According to former World of Warcraft developer John Statz, one of the Vanilla WoW team's chief goals was to create a casual version of EverQuest, capable of enthralling audiences across all demographics, including those with less free time. And it would appear that they were successful, as according to some 2005 census data from Warcraft Realms, the average age of a Vanilla WoW player was 28, far beyond the age of legal adulthood. So, can a busy adult with, say, only 5 to 10 hours of free time per week be able to enjoy Classic WoW's gameplay? The easy answer is yes, but there's a lot more to it than that. You see, when people ask, can I still enjoy Classic if I have a job or if I'm busy, what they usually mean is, can I still meaningfully progress in Classic's gameplay if I have a job or I'm busy? And the answer to that question is far more complicated. To make things easier, I've broken down the major aspects of vanilla gameplay into 3 categories so I can more simply explain what casual players should expect from their Classic experience. We'll start off with leveling. Can a working adult who only plays 5 to 10 hours a week enjoy Classic leveling? Absolutely. Unlike later expansions where leveling became a glorified time gate preceding the game's real content, Classic WoW's leveling is the real content. Journeying through each zone, progressing your character, and reaching meaningful power milestones is the bread and butter of original WoW. And experiencing this progressive growth is entirely independent of how much time you have to play. A level 10 in Westfall will feel the same satisfaction in leveling as a level 50 character in Tanaris. So if you only have a few hours to spend playing each week, don't fret. But leveling isn't just about progression. It's also about story, and in Classic WoW, I'm happy to say that the full breadth of Vanilla's diverse storylines can be enjoyed even by the most irregular players. This is primarily due to the Vanilla WoW dev team's intentional decentralization of the game's narrative. Rather than focus the game's plot around one overarching storyline, the stories in Vanilla are short and provincial. This means that even 30 minutes of game time can yield a great story experience. See The Legend of Stalvan. So once again, casual gamers don't really miss out here. In fact, when it comes to the entire Vanilla WoW leveling process, you could argue that casual gamers have more opportunities to enjoy the game than their turbo nerd counterparts, whose rush to level 60 robs them of some great experiences. But leveling isn't the only aspect of Classic WoW gameplay. What should a casual player expect from the raiding scene? Assuming a casual spends an average of 5 to 10 hours per week gaming, and assuming it takes approximately 10 days played or 240 hours to reach level 60, then a casual player should expect to enter the raiding scene around 6 months after launch. That's right around the time that Blackwing Lair, the second raid tier of Vanilla, should be launching in Classic WoW. That means that in terms of raiding, casual players won't actually be that far behind the curve. In fact, because of how strong some of the loot is in Molten Core, casuals will be pleased to learn that they won't even miss out on the first raid tier, as guilds tend to revisit MC for the legendary bindings, overpowered two-handers, and epic patterns. Remember, in Classic, new raid tiers do not invalidate previous tiers, which keeps old content relevant and allows casual gamers to experience the raids that they otherwise may have missed. But what about life beyond Molten Core? How far can a 5 to 10 hour a week gamer progress into Classic WoW's raids? The answer is surprisingly far. While Vanilla WoW raiding has developed a bit of a mystique over the years, it's important to separate emotion from reason and state the obvious truth. Classic WoW raiding in 2019 is not particularly difficult or demanding. In fact, I would go so far as to say that Molten Core, Onyxia, Blackwing Lair, Zul'Gurub, and AQ20 are all absolutely clearable by a casual player. Yep, 5 out of the 7 raids of Vanilla are completely doable even by casuals. Only one of those raids has a steep attunement process, and the rest don't require high consumable use. It's during AQ40 where the time investment required increases significantly, primarily due to the consumables and nature resist gear required in the second half of that instance. 5 to 10 hours of playtime per week is likely not enough to clear AQ40, and certainly isn't enough to clear Naxxramas. That said, 5 out of the 7 raids of Vanilla WoW are absolutely doable by a casual player in Classic. Maybe that wasn't the case back in 2005 or 2006, but in 2019, it certainly will be. So if you're a casual and you're watching this video, you're probably feeling pretty good right about now. 90% of Classic's PvE content is accessible to you. But what about PvP? Can a 5 to 10 hour a week gamer expect to reach that coveted rank 14 title and be crowned the High Warlord or Grand Marshal of their faction? Unfortunately, this is where the dream ends for most casuals. Unless you're spending 80 hours a week in BGs, you're going to have to kiss your High Warlord aspirations goodbye. That's because of how the honor calculations work, and because there's no way to prevent the 20% honor decay each reset. But hold your tears, because rank 14, while prestigious and rewarding, isn't the end-all be-all of the ranking system. You actually begin acquiring powerful rank gear at ranks 7 and 8, which are easily reachable by a casual player. In fact, rank 10, the rank at which you complete your blue PvP set, is potentially doable by pre-mating only 10 hours a week, on the condition that your pre-mate is efficient and your queue times are low. That's pretty damn good, especially when you consider that the PvP gear in Classic WoW will be in its 112 itemized state, meaning that some blue quality ranking pieces will be on par with AQ40 gear. Yet another example of casual players not missing out on much. So in terms of leveling, rating, and ranking, casual players will be able to experience most of the game's content. Only the most challenging raids and the highest ranks will be off limits to casuals, but everything else in Classic is entirely doable from a gameplay perspective. Now, there are some things that we didn't go over in this video, such as the Scarab Lord mount or legendaries. The reason why I didn't mention these is because they're obviously not going to be obtainable by casuals. However, it is important to note that they won't be obtainable by 99% of hardcore players either, as playing the game a lot is but a small factor in what qualifies someone to receive those incredible rewards. So again, casuals aren't really getting punished here. And just to clarify, not every casual player is the same or will have the same Classic WoW experience. Variables such as previous exposure to vanilla and what class you play will deeply impact how much content you'll be able to see in Classic WoW. If you're interested in learning which classes are better suited for casual players who have less time on their hands, I'll talk about that in my next video. But in conclusion, yes, it is entirely possible to play Classic WoW on a hectic IRL schedule. More specifically, it's possible to meaningfully progress into the end game on a casual basis. So if you're working 40 hours a week, or have a family to tend to, or both, don't sweat it. You can still enjoy vanilla in all its glory, albeit at a much slower pace. And you know what? Maybe that's a good thing. After all, vanilla has always been about the journey, not the destination. I hope you enjoy yours.